Everything you believe is false. Okay, not everything, but there are some things that you would swear are true, things you think you've seen with your own eyes that are 100% false. This phenomenon goes by a number of names: false memories, confabulation, the Mandela Effect. I'll explain why this happens at the end of this top 10, but first, here's our top 10 things you likely believe that are false.
Amazing!
Number 10. Product name memories. One of the ways our memory plays tricks on us are with the names of our favorite products, especially if they were dear to us during childhood. This is the popular American peanut butter, Jif. It's been called Jif since it was invented in 1960, yet some people will swear that it's called Jiffy. It's possible they're getting mixed up with another peanut butter brand, Skippy. Or they're remembering an old TV commercial for Jif, where a mom said she'd fix her kid a snack in a Jiffy. Then there's the kids' cereal Fruit Loops, or is it Fruit Loops? Many people think it used to be spelled F-R-U-I-T, or as it's also shown, correctly. Someone then changed it to the more playful spelling later. That's their memory acting up. It's always been F-R-O-O-T. I guess they believe the pack was changed by time travelers. Number 9. Musical memories. Music often brings back strong memories, long-forgotten events, or people can be brought back by hearing a song. Unfortunately, they're sometimes the wrong memories. Ask some people what film Eye the Tiger was in. Many of them will say Rocky. They have a memory of Rocky, firing himself up for his make-it-or-break-it fight with Apollo Creed, to the strains of Eye of the Tiger. They'd be wrong, however. Eye of the Tiger wasn't heard until Rocky III. Next, We Are the Champions by Queen. It's played at sporting events all over the world. Everyone knows how it goes at the end. We are the champions of the world, right?
We are the champions!
Wrong. It doesn't go of the world. It just finishes on champions. Finally, the song at the start of the American kids show, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Many people believe he sings It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. They're wrong, however.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor.
He sings, It's a Beautiful Day in This Neighborhood. It doesn't sound right, but sorry, that's the song. Number 8. Star Wars memories. Okay, quick, what's the most famous line in the whole Star Wars franchise? It's that line in Empire Strikes Back, when Darth Vader reaches out to Luke Skywalker and says, "Luke, I am your father." That's right, of course it is, except it isn't. This famous line was never actually spoken in the film. Darth Vader actually says,
"No, I am your father."
It's an example of something being repeated so often it crosses into our memory, replacing the truth. Another commonly misremembered Star Wars fact regards bossy robot C-3PO. Most people remember C-3PO being completely gold in color, but through the whole Star Wars saga, one of his legs is silver. Many of the merchandise even ignores his silver leg. This comes as a surprise to even hardcore Star Wars fans. Number 7. The Lindbergh baby. It's one of the most famous crimes of the 20th century, but you'd be surprised how many people don't know how it ended. On March 1st, 1932, Charles Lindbergh Jr., the 20-month-old son of American aviation hero Charles Lindbergh, was kidnapped from the family home in New Jersey. Today, it's hard to believe what a big deal Lindbergh was, but after making the first solo transatlantic flight in 1927, he was one of the most famous people in the world. Tragically, after a worldwide search and constant coverage, the body of Charles Jr. was found 2 months later. The killer, Richard Hauptmann, was caught and eventually sentenced to death. However, if you ask people, they'll tell you that they remember the Lindbergh baby kidnapping was a mystery that was never solved, that the baby was never found. This false memory hasn't been helped by later adaptations of this story by authors like Agatha Christie and James Patterson, which changed many of the facts. There was also this joke on The Simpsons.
Alright, I admit it. I am the Lindbergh baby. Wah, wah.
Sometimes popular culture creates a Mandela Effect. Number 6. Childhood memories. Cast your mind back to your childhood and family games of Monopoly. You know, those games that went on forever and ended in a sea of poverty, anger, and accusations of cheating. The box featured a stereotypical rich banker, Uncle Pennybags. What did he look like? That's right, tuxedo, cane, top hat, mustache, monocle. Hang on, go and check. He never had a monocle. At no point since he was first drawn in 1936 has Pennybags worn a monocle. It's one of those things people believe they remember seeing, but have never seen. Also, many people have fond memories of reading the Berenstain Bears books when they were kids. They may have also watched the Berenstain Bears on TV. What they don't remember is that these bears actually had the surname Berenstain, not Berenstein. They were named after their creators, Stan and Jan Berenstain. Many people might remember it as Berenstein as it's a more common name. Conspiracy theorists think they changed it to Berenstain as it sounded less Jewish. Finally, the most famous Pokemon, Pikachu. If you drew him, what would his tail look like? Many people would draw him with a black flash on his tail. They're sure that part of his tail was black. However, his tail is, and always has been, totally yellow. Number 5. Catchphrase memories. Sometimes people are defined by a phrase that they spoke. When you think of Martin Luther King, you think, "I have a dream." Others are defined by a phrase they spoke many times. Try doing an impression of Arnold Schwarzenegger without saying, "I'll be back." However, it turns out some catchphrases we remember well were never actually spoken. Captain Kirk in Star Trek never said, "Beam me up, Scotty." Sherlock Holmes never said, "Elementary, my dear Watson." Although in both cases they did say things that were close to these catchphrases. These are examples of something being repeated enough that it eventually becomes the accepted truth. One more. In the classic Disney film Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the evil queen never said, "Mirror, mirror on the wall." She says, "Magic mirror on the wall." Number 4. Tank Man. In 1989, the Chinese government cracked down on student protests in Beijing's Tiananmen Square by sending in tanks. This was the start of what became the Tiananmen Square Massacre. One of the most iconic pictures from this tragedy was of a lone man standing in front of an oncoming tank, refusing to move. This picture was shown around the world, and this man became known as Tank Man, a symbol of nonviolent resistance. Many people remember seeing video footage taken a few seconds later where Tank Man is run over by the tank. Yet this never happened. It's not clear what did happen to him. He may have been taken and executed by the authorities, or he may have gone into hiding. What we know for sure is that despite what many people vividly remember, he was definitely not run over. Number 3. Celebrity false memories. It's not just everyday people that have false memories. Famous people have them too. NBC News anchorman Brian Williams used to tell a tale of reporting during the 2003 Iraq War. He was traveling in a helicopter that was hit by an RPG missile and forced down in the desert. Williams told this story on many occasions over 12 years, until it turned out that it wasn't true. Williams was on a different helicopter, flying about an hour behind the one that was hit. In 2015, Williams apologized for embellishing this war story, but said he wasn't lying, he was misremembering. Years of telling the story and watching reports of the incident had made his memory foggy, until he believed that he had actually been shot at. Similarly, Hillary Clinton used to recall an event in 1996, where as First Lady, she visited Bosnia with Bill. According to Hillary, their plane landed under sniper fire and she had to run for safety into the airport. However, video footage of her receiving an adoring crowd shows this clearly isn't the case. Again though, she wasn't lying, she had misremembered her experience. It just goes to show anyone can make mistakes when it comes to memory. Number 2. Film quote memories. It turns out some of the most famous film quotes were never actually uttered, or not in the exact way that people remember them anyway. In The Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal Lecter never said, "Hello, Clarice." His first words on meeting Clarice are simply, "Good morning." Also, Forrest Gump's mama never said life is like a box of chocolates. She said life was like a box of chocolates. Furthermore, the quote, "If you build it, they will come," supposedly said by Kevin Costner in Field of Dreams, is a quote that has lived on and infiltrated the world of business. Again though, it was never said. Costner said, "If you build it, he will come." Finally, and this isn't just a quote, this is a whole film that never existed, despite many people swearing that they saw it. Many people claim they saw a film in the 1990s starring the comedian Sinbad as a genie. These people aren't confusing him with Shaquille O'Neal, who played a genie in 1996 film Kazam. No, they think it's evidence of the paranormal. Number 1. The Mandela Effect. All these examples are grouped together under the term the Mandela Effect. But why? In 2010, paranormal author Fiona Broome claimed she remembered seeing news coverage of Nelson Mandela dying in a South African prison in the 1980s. When she mentioned this, many other people agreed that they saw it too. They even remember seeing his funeral. Of course, Mandela didn't die in the 80s. He was released from prison, served as South African president, and died peacefully at his home in 2013. This phenomenon of shared memories which are actually false was publicized by Broom and became known as the Mandela Effect. Now it's time to investigate possible explanations for so many people believing things that are patently wrong. One theory is that there are parallel universes, very similar to our own, but not exactly the same. As we go about our lives, we imperceptibly switch between these universes. False memories are evidence of this. We were raised in a universe where Darth Vader said, "Luke, I am your father." We just happen at the moment to be in the one where he didn't. Another possible explanation is that time travelers are going back and forward in time, subtly changing things. Although why, if they had this power, they change Fruit Loops to Fruit Loops instead of changing, important stuff, is anyone's guess. A more plausible theory, though, is that memories are enforced by conversation. We create memories in our heads by discussing them with other people. Most of the time, we discuss things that actually happened. However, if you hear everyone say, "Beam me up, Scotty," you start to believe that it's actually a true quote, not a mistake. Did you used to believe any of these? Has your memory ever proved to be false? Leave us a comment to let us know. Thanks for watching.